Took a little bit of convincing Nala and Dad so they weren't going to melt. Mad. You're going to get the birdies, guys! Oh, they're already getting the birdies over there. They're going to be gutted in another couple of months, well, another month's time or so when the birds go. Keeps them amused for hours chasing birds around the field. Nuts. So yeah, I don't really know what I'm going to talk about today. I haven't really decided. As always, there's a lot I could talk about, I like to talk about, but yeah. I'm seeing a lot of like feeding posts in the Dalmatian groups at the minute as well, and like part of it is they were on like high-end brand food. Well, they are on high-end brand food, and the high-end brand food has gone up by a lot. The middle and lower sort of tier food has gone up as well, but not by quite so much. I think people are just looking to save money, which is like fair enough, but it just depends on where you're going to go with that, or how much you want to save, because it's a bit of a false economy with how much they'd need to eat of the lower brand food to get the same nutritional value, and some of it's like filled with stuff that could cause them illness or problems in the long term, and just gets a bit, are you really saving money? Like my lot are on Skinner's, duck and rice, all the adults are. Pumpkin and Raven, even though they're not quite adult yet, they're on it too. And they do well on it, and I just try and vary the amounts depending on what they're doing. Like, believe it or not, Jude has more than Nala. Nala's on the chunky side. She is coming out of a Phantom where she wasn't running around much. But anyway, Nala's a lot chunkier than Jude, and Jude gets more. But yeah, you've got to look at the dogs you're feeding, and I never read the back of the bag, if I'm honest. I just feed by eye, and it it'll vary depending on how they're looking weight wise, and if I'm happy with their weight, it'll vary depending on what they're doing or they've done activity wise. I'd always say done, because I could give them a big feed today because I'm planning on doing a big hike, and then it rains or my foot's bad and I gotta go and do something and I don't end up walking, and then they've had a big feed and they've not done anything to warrant that big feed. So always feed by what you've done, not what you're planning. Now I will say the bit of a caveat to that is, like, Pod's doing the carriage dog trials a week Saturday, so he's doing it. Like, short of him getting injured between now and then, he's going, so I can adjust his feed in the days leading up to it to ensure he's got enough stamina to perform, enough energy, stamina to perform. So if there's things like that, it's happening. It's a bit, that's the only caveat to that. So Raven just did a bit of a correction. to Phoebe, and Pumpkin went flying in to tell her. So I watched a really interesting YouTube video last night, and it was on a vet had made the video, and it was about spaying and neutering and health risks associated with that. And it was really good because she linked to several research articles that she'd clearly looked into, and she stated a lot of facts and figures and numbers about the various problems that occurred with dogs that were early spay neuter, the lifespan. They looked at Rottweilers, which Rottweilers are quite a big breed. Like, they're not necessarily a breed you'd associate it with being long-lived, but if they weren't early spay neuter dogs, as in like middle of their life to later they were spayed or neutered or not at all, they will live until they were about 13, 14, even up to 17. And then versus the ones that were early spay neuters, they went at 9. And the extra metabolic issues early spay and neuter caused. Now, as she rightly said, sometimes it has to happen. Sometimes a female gets pyometra, it has to happen. Sometimes a male has only one descended, crypto orchid, I can never say it. And things have to happen. So medically, sometimes it does have to happen. And that's fine because it's better that way. Behaviourally, sometimes it has to happen because, as she said, they're better off in a loving home with their behaviour sort of tempered or whatever than they are moving around because owners can't handle them intact and ending up in a bad home or a kill shelter. So anyway, it was really good video, and I'm happy to share a link if you guys want to see it. But it was definitely interesting, and it verified a lot of what I think, because like in human women, if a woman has to have a hysterectomy early, then they get HRT, because living without those hormones can and does cause problems. But we do it to our dogs all the time, and there was a real increased risk of Cushing's disease in early spay neuter dogs. And it makes me wonder, I'd need to look at some data with horses, but the geldings, which are essentially neutered male horse, do they get more Cushing's? Because there's a metabolic issue. Take away their hormones. Anyway, it'd be interesting to look at. So yeah, Sarah's arrived now, so I'll leave this here. Come on, Jude, you're gonna go see Gizzy. Good girl, Jude. She's stalking Gizzy, she is. Go get her then, Jude. Get that dog, Jude. She always greets Gizzy with a bit of a bark and a growl, but Gizzy greets her with the same.